Hello. Agent Zero version 0.8 has been in development for quite a while now, and today it is being finally released for public testing. There is a ton of new features in Agent Zero. I will not go into much detail now. I will make a separate video on it, but some of the features you can see, like the revamped UI with settings, with file browser, with attachments working, text-to-speech and speech-to-text. Some of the new features are in background, like the new context window management system or the new integrated web search engine. But the biggest change this time is that Agent Zero now runs fully in Docker, so you don't need to set up Agent Zero anymore using conda Python installing requirements, etc. Agent Zero will now run just from a single Docker image. Thanks to this, Agent Zero is now very easy to deploy and run. It runs in a unified environment, so we can instruct the agent where to find stuff, what it can and cannot do, and it can leverage its knowledge of the system. And it also allows me to pre-install complex software to come with Agent Zero out of the box working and tested. In the following days and weeks, I will create a series of videos about these new features, about the Docker image, about how to run Agent Zero from the user's perspective, how to run Agent Zero from developer's perspective, how to keep Agent Zero fully customizable as a framework while having the benefit of the Docker image and the unified environment. But in this video, I would like to show you how to run the testing branch of Agent Zero right now, so you can try it right away and perhaps help me with testing it. The only thing you need installed on your machine is Docker. I recommend going to docker.com and downloading Docker Desktop. It has a simple user interface, easy to navigate. If you're familiar with the terminal version of Docker, you can use that instead. Once Docker Desktop is downloaded and installed, the UI looks like this. Your list of images will be empty. I already have some downloaded. The first thing you want to do is create an account and log in. This will allow you to download Docker images from the internet. It's all for free. Then you can use the search bar to search for agent-0-run, and here you can see the Agent Zero run testing image. And you can click on the run button. The first time it will take a while because it will have to download the image, but then a dialog window like this opens up. If you're unfamiliar with how Docker works, I recommend searching for some of the shorter videos on YouTube. It's fairly easy. The image you have downloaded acts as a blueprint for a virtual machine. And now we create a container from that image, which is one running instance of that virtual machine. So you can specify a name for your container or leave it empty for a random name. You can map ports between your machine and the Docker container. The only port we need to map is port 80 because this is how you access the web UI, this one. So you can put 0 here and Docker will assign random port to you, or if you prefer, for example, having 80 on your machine as well, you can do so. You can map your folders on your host machine to folders inside of the Docker container. For example, AO is the folder inside the Linux system where the framework is located, including chat history, the agent memory, the temporary files, downloaded files, working folder, etc. So you can map this folder to a folder on your host machine if you want to have Agent Zero persistent. If you want to delete the container and start another one but keep your files, you can do it like this by selecting a folder on your machine here and putting the target folder, in this case AO, in the container path. You don't need to do it. Then every container will have its own isolated environment. It will be completely sandboxed. And when you delete the container, it will delete all the framework files as well. And you can specify environment variables. You can specify even API keys here or login and password for the framework itself, but you don't need to do it here. I will show you how to do it in the web UI instead. So now you can click run. This will switch me to the containers tab. It It will show me the log of the container starting, and now the container is started. Here I can see port 55,000 has been assigned to the port 80 inside the Docker container. I can click this and it will open the web UI for me. So now the framework is running. The green indicator shows that everything is connected. The first thing I want to do is go into the settings and select my model for the main chat model, utility model, embedding model. For now, I will leave it all default to OpenAI GPT-4o Mini. I will just go to the API keys section and provide my API key for OpenAI here. And I can test this, and everything should be working. If you don't use OpenAI, you can select another provider from the list. You can specify your model name, the temperature, additional parameters, context window size, etc. Provide another API key or no API key in case of Llama, for example, and you're good to go. If you encounter any problems that don't allow you to continue, if your agent gets stuck, if the API endpoint stops responding, there's a nudge button here. This will reset the running context of the agent, and it will poke the agent into another action. If this doesn't help, you can use this restart button. It will restart the Python process inside the Docker container, and you can continue. If you like this framework, if you have any suggestions or if you find any bugs, don't forget to join the Discord server or the Skool community. Both links are in the description of this video. If you're a developer and you would like to contribute to this project, feel free to contact us on Discord, and you can join a handful of active contributors inside the devs channel. As always, big thanks to everyone interested in this project, and stay tuned for more updates.